Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to scale your business to that magical £1 million turnover in less than 12 months using this 10-step roadmap. But before we go there, I'd just like to announce that the doors to apply for my inner circle, which is my 12-month marketing and business coaching program live with me, the doors are about to open. So if you're not already on the waiting list and you want to consider applying for the inner circle, please consider clicking the link in around the description of this episode and adding yourself to our inner circle waiting list. This way, as soon as the doors open for you to apply, you'll get the email notifying you that the doors are now open. Now, let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. How do you get your business to that turnover of £1 million? That magical 7-figure business. This has become almost like a benchmark for a lot of business owners. It's like the Mount Everest of small businesses. And people think if I can get my business to turning over £1 million plus, I've made it. I've cracked it. But let's pause and ask, why that number? Where's the obsession come from for people to hit this 7-figure business mark? And I think for a lot of people, and me included back in the day, it's like a symbolic number. It feels like the point where you're no longer just getting on and surviving, you're actually building something tangible when you can start to hit these numbers. Something that pays you well, gives your family security, something real, employing a big team, or maybe getting off the tools for good, if that's what you want to do. It represents growth, legacy, freedom, control. And let's not dance around the subject. For some, it's ego, that you've hit that £1 million mark and you feel like you're playing in the big league. People notice you. You've achieved something. It's accomplishment. You've got loads of vans on the road. You've got all this staff. You've got these big offices that represent the scale and the size of your business. It's a pat on the back after all those early mornings, late nights, and those jobs that didn't go to plan. And you know what? That's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with aiming for that £1 million turnover. But here's what I want to say as we start this episode. Turnover is not the end goal. Don't confuse hitting £1 million with being rich, stress-free, or successful. I'm sure somewhere along your journey, you've heard that phrase. Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. Let me say it again. Turnover is just vanity. It's just a numbers. It's just a metric. Who cares that you're turning over £1 million? Nobody's interested. Nobody's bothered. What actually makes all the difference and what's the most important figures are your gross and your net profit figures after everything's been stripped off of that £1 million turnover. You see, I coach businesses that are turning over £1 million plus. But when we look at their net profit margins, in other words, after all the labour's been stripped off, all the materials have been stripped off, all of their overheads have been stripped off, and all the tax has been paid, some business owners are left with absolutely nothing in the bank. So turnover doesn't really matter. It's a vanity matrix. What matters is the net profit after tax. And I've seen and I coach smaller businesses. And when I say smaller, I'm talking maybe businesses that are turning over 200, 300, 400, 500,000 pound as a turnover, but are making more net profit after tax than the business owner is that's turning over £1 million. Are you with me? So it's great that we've got this focus on the 7-figure and the £1 million mark, but at the end of the day, none of that matters if you're not making high net profits. So the real goal of this episode today is not just necessarily to show you how to get to that £1 million, right? It's to show you how to do it correctly, with structure, with systems, and with a plan that's not going to burn you out. Because here's the truth, you can absolutely do this. There's no secret sauce that only big players know about. It's a game of mindset, numbers, systems, marketing, and leadership that's going to get you there. So if you sat there and you're thinking, do you know what, Craig, I've been stuck at this certain turnover for years and I don't seem to be growing. Or I don't even know where to start to scale the business in the right way. Or I'm too busy doing the work on the tools, doing all the paperwork and the pricing at evenings and weekends to even contemplate scaling my business, Craig. Well, this episode is 100% for you. We're going to break it all down today, from the shifts that you need to make in your own mindset, to the kind of team that you're going to need, to the systems that you cannot grow without. So grab your notepad, pen or tablet, or if you're beavering away and you're on the tools, stick your ear pods in and plug them into your ears and let's get cracking. Because getting your business to £1 million turnover, it's not a dream, it's a decision. And it starts right now. Chapter 1, the pain points of growth. I want to be honest, open and transparent with you, as you know I am on all these episodes, right? And given the fact that I teach marketing, right, I teach you how to sell the benefits and the end result to your customers and clients. Now, if I was doing this myself right now, I'd be doing what the vast majority of other, let's say, business coaches or marketeers would be telling you. And you see this every day on Facebook ads where people are, write this down, selling the dream, right? Too many coaches out there, in fact, just about 99.9% of coaches out there are going to sell you a dream that building, growing and scaling a business is easy. All you need to do is do this and this, or download a cheat sheet or watch a couple of videos and all of a sudden you'll become a multimillionaire. Listen, this is absolute bullshit, right? I'd rather be honest with you. Building and growing and scaling a business, whether you're scaling it to 250 grand, 500 grand or £1 million plus, is freaking hard work. Let's not beat around the bush. Now, it doesn't have to be hard work if you build and grow and scale your business from scratch on day one, the way in which I'd teach you to do it. But we don't do that, do we? We set up a business, we're naive, we're a bit green, we've got no experience, and what we do is we go into it hell for leather. And what we do is we start to market our business, it starts to generate us leads, all of a sudden we haven't got enough labour, we've got too much work coming in for ourselves. So what do? We naturally skip to the part where we bring in more labour. That could be an apprentice, another fitter, another engineer. And you think you're growing and scaling your business because you've got more work coming in, you're taking staff on, you've got 2 vans on road now, you're running multiple jobs, you think you're scaling your business and you're going to make more profit. And that's not how it works. All you're doing here is eating more into the 168 hours a week that you've got. So now you've become stressed out, overworked, you're working longer hours than anybody else, you're on the tools during the day, you're dealing with double the amount of leads, double the amount of jobs to organise, double the amount of labour, double the amount of materials, double the amount of paperwork. All this lot is going off. And this is what leads us into that busy full stage. Stage 2 of business growth, the busy full stage. And because of this, we get caught in a rut and we get caught on an hamster wheel where, because we haven't built the business the right way, we've been winging it and making it up as we go along, we don't have any time then to start learning how to build a business the right way and put the right strategies in place, because we're working long, hard hours. Now, what I'm here to say is this. We've got to start to learn and make the mindset shift now on how we're going to grow and scale our businesses moving forward. Because I guarantee that if you're in that busy, full stage, which is stage 2, and if you want to know what the 3 stages are to business growth, because there's 3 stages, if you want to know what they are, go and check out episode number 2. Episode number 2, the 3 crucial stages of business growth. Warning, avoid stage 2 at all costs. In fact, let's just stay with busy fool, right? Because I want you to identify where you're at right now in your business. So let me give you some pointers of what stage 2 looks like, right? Where more than likely you're still on the tools and you're trying to do everything on your business. You're working on the tools in the day, then evenings you're coming home and doing your paperwork, your pricing, your invoicing, your quoting. You're even having to put Saturdays and Sundays in, right, to catch up because you're miles behind on all your paperwork. Then there's the pressure that it brings. Pressure on keeping the phone ringing, pressure on keeping your clients and customers happy, pressure on keeping the payroll coming in every month, pressure on not messing up on a quote, because if you mess up on a quote, it's going to wipe out all your profit, which then leads on to cash flow problems, because now you're owed 15 grand over 3 jobs and your team needs paying on Friday and you haven't got the money. And then you start digging into your VAT money and using your VAT money as an overdraft. Margins start to disappear because we don't have time to sit down and work and do the pricing correctly and work out all the numbers in our business. When cash flow starts to get tight, your home life starts to suffer. You start snapping at your husband, wife, partner and your kids. You don't take your kids to dancing or football training because you're burying your head in all that paperwork. This leads you to a point where you can't switch off. Even when you go on holiday, you're still answering your phone, dealing with text messages and WhatsApp messages and emails while you sat around the pool. You've got no systems in place, so you're running your business out of your head. There's only you that can run your entire business from top to bottom. So you're having to do everything. You're taking too much work on because you don't know your capacity, and then all of a sudden you're panicking, you're trying to find labour. And then all of a sudden you get introduced to a subbie and you leave the subbie on a job and the subbie upsets your customer or cocks up on the job, which is now costing you time and money. Come on, you know where I'm at. If you're in any of that stage or cycle, you are in stage 2, which is busy fool. So what I'm saying is we've got to start to unpick all of those bad habits and start to put the right strategies in if we're going to scale our business to over £1 million plus, because you cannot scale your business to that level if you're winging it and you're making it up as you go along and you're in that busy full period. Because the only thing that's going to happen is your business is going to crack and fold, and your headspace and your mindset and your health and well-being is going to crack and you're going to fold. Do you get what I'm saying? So all these coaches out there that are saying, oh, watch these videos, download this cheat sheet, come on this 1 hour course and become an entrepreneur and take your business to £1 million. I'm not saying taking your business to £1 million is not doable, but it's not doable if you're in stage 2. Are you with me? So all they're doing is trying to sell you a dream. They're trying to sell you the end ticket and the end result. But what they're not doing is giving you all the strategies to put right what's wrong so you can scale in the first place. And for me, I think that is morally wrong. That doesn't sit with my values, morals, standards and beliefs. I'd rather be honest and open with you and say, listen, it's going to be hard work. We've got to roll the sleeves up. We've got to get stuck in. But if you're prepared to do what other people aren't prepared to do, then you'll achieve results. So we have to accept that there's going to be a little bit of pain that we've got to go through. Or you might be experiencing some of these pain points and challenges in your business right now. We can't just wave a magic wand and let them disappear. We've got to work on putting them right before we start to scale. And to put them right, something clearly has to change in your business and the way in which you are currently running it. Chapter 2. What needs to change to move past the pain? All right, so we've just unpacked the pressure, the chaos, the frustration, the pain points, the challenges, the obstacles, the hurdles that you need to overcome to scale your trades business. And I get it. It feels like everything sometimes is just stacked against you. I've been there. You see, I used to be in that busy, full period, stage 2 of business growth, because nobody told me when I first set up my joinery and building company way back in 1994, nobody told me, Craig, hang on a minute, this is how you build, grow and scale a business that's going to provide you and your family with the lifestyle that you want, with limited stress and limited hassle, so you can get to that £1 million or 7-figure turnover mark. Nobody explained that to me. So I went through the exact same pain points as what you're going through. But in reality, something had to change in my business, and therefore something has to change in your business. I'm sure you've heard of this phrase. The definition of insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again in your business or your life, and you don't change your approach, but you're expecting a different result or a better result. Well, how is the result going to change? How is the outcome going to become better if all you keep doing is the same repeated mistakes that aren't taking you to where you want to be? Clearly, something has to change. And I don't mean I want you to start working harder. You're already working hard. I mean, we've got to change our approach and the way in which we are thinking of our business, the way in which we lead as a leader in our business, and how we structure our business moving forward. So I want you to make a note of these 5 areas of business that you've got to start focusing on, changing and improving to get anywhere near scaling your business. Number 1 is mindset. Mindset and personal development. It's the single most important area of your business and life that you've got to invest into. You see, I have a famous or popular phrase that goes like this. Write it down. The business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. You see, with respect, your business is not the problem. You're the problem in the business because of the mindset that you've got and the way in which you're running your business. So if we want things to change, the first thing that has to change is our mindset. And you've got to stop seeing yourself as a tradesperson, a tradesman or a tradeswoman. You're not a tradesman, you're not a tradeswoman. While if we've got that mindset, all we've got is a job. We're self-employed, director of a limited company. We've got the toughest job in the world because we've got a job. Why? Because the business doesn't run like clockwork without us working in it. That's what a business is. But for many of you, because we're thinking like a tradesperson and not like an entrepreneur or a business owner, right? Then we're thinking small, right? We're just thinking, what can we do to get through each day? And this doesn't matter whether you're a plumber, sparky, roofer, joiner, builder. Wherever you're thinking like a tradesperson, you're going to remain on the tools and you're going to stay in stage number 2. My business and my life, honestly, 18 years ago, transformed when I submerged myself into mindset and personal development. Listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts like this, starting to listen to topics on the law of attraction, introducing new morning and evening routines, getting my fitness, my health and my well-being up, changing my diet, starting to exercise, separating myself from all those negative doom and gloomers and then starting to build a new circle of influence and surrounding myself with positive people that could lift me higher, that I could learn from, getting a coach, getting a mentor, all these things I had to do to change my mindset from being a busy full joiner that I'd created. You see, the business wasn't the problem for me back then. I was the problem. I was the biggest obstacle. I was the biggest hurdle in my business all along. But it took a massive shift in mindset for me to understand that. And when I did, the penny finally dropped and I realised I had to change my approach. And it's the same with you. So what I'm going to suggest you do is at the end of this episode, go and check out these 2 episodes. Episode number 9 is called How to Develop a Positive, Bulletproof Growth Mindset to Achieve Success. And in episode 9, I share with you the exact steps that you need to do to make that conditional shift in your subconscious mind. Then I want you to go and check out episode number 10, which is how to create a powerful morning and evening routine to change your life. Remember, for things to change, you have to change, or all you'll ever have in your pocket is change. Number 2 is the numbers in your business, the finances. Because when it comes to knowing and understanding the numbers in your business, the vast majority, and I know this for a fact because I've coached over 30,000 tradesmen and women over the last 13 years, and I know that the vast majority of them haven't got a Scooby-Doo when it comes to their numbers. They're literally growing a business blind. They've got no idea how to price a job correctly. They don't know how to work out the hourly rates correctly. They don't know what their break-even figure is. They don't know how to work out the gross profit, the net profit. They don't understand what a balance sheet is. For most, let's say, sole traders, they're frightened to death for going over that VAT threshold, thinking that they're never going to win work when they go over that VAT threshold, which is utter nonsense. Are you with me? You don't understand the true numbers in your business. I mean, come on, you're in the business of making profit. End of. So how can you build a business to £1 million and get maybe a 50% net profit margin, so you're earning 500 grand net profit, if you don't understand the basic numbers in your business? Remember, turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. I want you making the most amount of net profit after tax. And again, Most business owners are overpaying on their taxes, whether that's the self-assessment tax or your corporation tax. You're overpaying. Why? Because you've got a shit accountant that you're not having quarterly management meetings and management accounts done. And you haven't got an accountant that's sitting you down and working with you with all these numbers and helping you to make more profit, but without overpaying on taxes. Some of you won't even have your own pension set up. Did you know that you can transfer a big proportion of your profits into a pension where you keep your money and it reduces your corporation tax bill on a limited company? Did you know that you can set up things called SAS pensions, so you can start to buy commercial property through your business to reduce your tax? All this lot, as a business owner, you need to know. And we've got to stop winging it and making it up as we go along with the numbers, because that's what's putting many of you in a financial pickle. And then all of a sudden, decisions that you've made, like taking bounce back loans out through COVID when you didn't really need to take one out, or taking it out and blowing the money on jet skis and flipping hot tubs that you didn't need. All that lot is poor decision making financially that's going to come back and bite you on the bum. And this is why right now there are so many business owners out there that are in debt, literally in debt. They've used the tax money and the VAT money as an overdraft. They have their accounts done and they get the self-assessment tax or the corporation tax to pay, and they've got no tax money saved up. They're in a financial mess and pickle. Well, if you continue to take more work on and continue to push for £1 million turnover and you're financially up shit creek, how's that going to work out for you? It's not. It's going to be a disaster. So number 2, you've got to understand these numbers. Number 3 is your time management. What we have to understand as business owners, the most valuable currency, I'm not just talking about in business here, I'm talking about in life. The most valuable currency is the currency of time. People seem to think it's money and it's cash flow. It's not. And, accountants may argue with me and say, well, it is, Craig, because cash flow is the lifeblood of a business. If you've not got positive cash flow and your business is not growing and money's accumulating in your bank, then ultimately you're on the verge of going pop or bust or into liquidation. I'm saying, yeah, I get that, but time is more valuable and more important than money. Because if I were to say to that accountant, I accept that, but you give me one of your clients now, today, ring them up and tell them to come and sit with me for the next week. Tell them to come to my office and wipe out all week and come and sit next to me. For the next 40 hours, we're going to work on their cash flow. I'm going to teach them all the numbers in the business. I'm going to teach them how to price jobs correctly. I'm going to teach them how to make more profit. I'm going to teach them how to set 4 pots up of money and start moving us money around and putting money into pensions so we can start to buy assets for future. If you can send me a client to come and sit with me for the next 40 hours, do you think we could improve their cash flow? Yes. The answer is yes, of course we can. But how many business owners can come and just sit with me tomorrow for 40 straight hours? They can't do it. Why? Because the business controls them and therefore controls their time. So we've got to start being absolutely laser focused on where every single minute of your time is being spent in your business. Because most business owners are wasting an incredible amount of time. And this is where you get to the end of a week and you've still got a to-do list as long as your arm, which means when you start the next working week, you're already behind on time because you've not managed to get done what you've got done the previous week. And then this leads us to working long into the night, doing your paperwork and your accounts and your books and your invoicing till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Or having to put that extra Saturday or Sunday shift in to catch up. Why? Because you've got no idea of how to manage your time when it comes to scaling a business. So what I want you to do is go and check out these 2 episodes all around time management. Episode number 4 is called How to Create a Default Diary to get super organised and become more productive and more efficient in your business. Every business owner should have a default diary, and every single minute of time that is planned into their business should be put into a diary. So the diary runs your entire business in your life. The second episode I want you to go and check out is episode number 17. And this is where I give you 10 time management tips to become more productive and more efficient that will save you 25 hours a week. I mean, come on. If I can get you 25 hours of your week back and we reinvested that 25 hours into the 10 steps and strategies I'm going to share with you in the next chapter on how to get to £1 million, do you think we could do it? And the answer is yes, of course. Number 4 is systems. If you're still manually doing everything in your business, whether it's in your head, scribbling on the back of a piece of plasterboard or a piece of 4x2, and you're making notes in paper diaries and to-do lists, then you're building a business on quicksand. And the more jobs you take on, the more staff you take on, I'm telling you now, the whole business is going to come crumbling down on top of you. You've got to put systems into your business so that the systems are running your entire business from that lead coming in all the way through the process, right to the very end till you get a 5-star glowing review and a video testimonial off that customer. You see, there are systems that will run everything from your pricing and your quoting and you're doing your invoicing to booking jobs in, to following up on customers. Everything that you are doing paperwork-wise or admin-wise, whether that's for marketing or job management or organising labour or ordering materials, the whole lot can be systemised and automated, which means the way in which you run your business is now out of your head into a system, so you've got a consistent 5-star customer service every single time a customer comes into your system. And then what we do with the systems is we start to delegate the systems to other members of your team so they can start to run your business for you, freeing up your time. I'm telling you now, if you want to get your time back, I can give you 20, 30 different time management tips. But the number one to get the vast majority of your time back is to implement systems into your business. And the 2 systems that I'm going to recommend that you implement is ServiceMate for the job management and running your teams, ordering materials and dealing with your customers is ServiceMate. And if you want to get an extended 28-day free ServiceMate trial where we give you £3,000 worth of bonuses that we can give you and training absolutely free, then you need to click the link in and around the description of this episode and go and sign up and make us your ServiceMate partner to get £3,000 worth of valuable bonuses for free. The second piece of software I'm going to recommend is a piece of software called Leadzilla. And again, it's linked up in the description. And Leadzilla is the tool that you're going to use for everything to do with sales and marketing. You can build landing pages, funnels, websites in it. You can schedule social media posts going out of it. You can build automated emails and text and a whole lot more that will deal with your entire marketing and sales. So you need systems like this. I don't mind what you use as long as you're systemizing your business and you get your business out of your head. This way, you can then go on holiday for 2 weeks with your family and devote every minute of that holiday to your family and your loved ones and building their memories rather than walking round pool trying to sort everything out on your phone from other end of the world. Number 5 is building your team. Seriously, I'm telling you now, your business is only as good and will only scale as good as what the team is that's inside the business. So making sure that you build the right team around you and you don't just employ your mate because you've known him for years and you bring him in as a subby. Or your best mate's friend's wife's just been laid off and she's looking for a bit of admin work. Oh, they'll do. Are you with me? You've got to start to build a team that's going to help you get to this £1 million because you cannot scale a business to £1 million with you doing everything because there's only 168 hours in a week. So you're going to need the right team around you. And I'm not just talking about people on the tools, whether that be the apprentice or the fitters or labourers or whoever you're bringing in. You've got to make sure that you've got the right people on the jobs where you're not having to babysit them. I mean, most business owners are babysitting grown-ass adults on jobs because the grown-ass adults that you're employing haven't got any common sense. They can't make a decision for themselves, so what do? They're on phone to you every 5 minutes or sending you WhatsApp messages. What do I do here? What do I do there? It's like, come on. You're grown adults. Work it out yourself. There's no need to be badgering me. So you've got to bring the right people in with the right mindset, the right skill set, and the right attitude towards work to make sure that the team on the tools are doing the jobs on time and on budget to your standards. But beyond that, we're going to want other team members, such as your accountant. You need an absolute amazing accountant that's going to work with you to help you grow this business and stop you overpaying on taxes. You're going to need an excellent marketing team that knows exactly how to attract your target market in the highest concentration to your business and then put them all through vetting forms to get rid of time wasters and tire kickers, exactly like we do and what we do with our inner circle members when we look after all their marketing for them. You might need an health and safety advisor, right? You might need a subcontract scaffolding team. Are you with me? You need to build a team around you, but your business will only get to where it wants to be based on the quality of your team. And too many of you out there have employed the wrong people. Now, just make a quick note of this. There is only 2 reasons why you employ a team. And this is it. Number 1 is to save you time. You bring a member of staff in, subcontract, freelance, on books, whatever. Their job is to save you time, right? The second reason is to make you more profit. End of. So if you've got a team or a team member now that is not saving you time because they're constantly sapping it because they're like babies and they want babysitting, or you've got a team that keep cocking up or don't produce the quality of standard of workmanship that you're expecting, so you keep getting called back to jobs or customers not happy, then clearly that team member has to go. Because the only reason why you've brought them in the first place is for them to save you time and make more money. So if they're not saving you time and they're not making you more money, what the fuck are you doing employing them? Get short and bring new people in with the right attitude, with the right skill set. And if you're working out your prices correctly with the way in which I'll show you how to price jobs, you should be able to price the best, highest paid subcontractors into the job. So you're not buying labour based on cheap labour. You want the best labour coming in. And if you've got to pay them 300, 400, 500 quid a day to get them in, then that reflects in the price. Are you with me? So the team we need to bring in. And these are the 5 areas that you've got to start to improve on now in your business where you're at. But what we also need to do is we need to focus on improving that and building on that to take it to that 7-figure business. Now, I've got 2 more episodes that I want you to go and check out. And this is episode number 8. And this is setting your boundaries and the rules of your game with your team, but also with your customers. So your customers aren't taking the piss with you like your team members may well be. That's episode 8. The second episode is episode 15. And in that, I teach you how to build a trustworthy, reliable, honest team to scale your business. Chapter 3, the roadmap to a £1 million turnover business. So we've talked about the goal, we've talked about the pain that you're going to experience, and we've talked about what needs to change and improve immediately. Now, I want to give you the actual roadmap and the 10 steps. These are practical, no-nonsense steps that you need to take to build your business to a 7-figure business. Now, think about it. If it was that easy to build and grow and scale a business, everybody would have the perfect business, and therefore everybody now would have the lifestyle that they want their business to provide for them. But the sad reality is that the vast majority of small to medium-sized business owners are stuck in this stage 2, the busy fool stage. Now, the busy fool stage works different depending on where you are. So, for example, if you are a small business turning over 150 grand and there's just you in your business, then you're not going to be experiencing some of these areas that I'm going to move into now because you're not at that level just yet. However, if you're already turning over 500 grand and you've got 6 members of staff and you've got officers and you've got vans on the road, you're going to be experiencing some of these 10 steps. But I'm guessing for some of these 10 steps, you've not got them quite right, which is causing you the pain. So whether you are new to business and you're listening to this episode, this is going to be invaluable to you because I'm going to give you the 10 steps that you need to work towards and stop yourself from going into that pain. Or if you're turning over 500 grand and you've got these missing pieces of your jigsaw puzzle, this is what I'm now going to give you. The bottom line is this: if you don't implement and work towards these 10 areas of business, you will never get the business that you dream of. And therefore, let's be honest, the reality is you'll never achieve the lifestyle that you want for you and your family. And not want, you deserve it, don't you? You're the one that's putting all this time, sweat, blood and effort into this business. All we need to do is change a few things and change our approach, put you down a new course and a new path, a quicker, easier, more risk-free way of getting to where you want to be. So grab your notepads, grab your pens, make a note of these 10 steps. Step number 1 is to get absolute clarity and crystal clear with your numbers. This is where most trades businesses fall flat before they've even started. So if I ask you right now, what is your gross profit and your gross profit margin on the jobs that you've done in the last 90 days, would you actually know what the answer is? The answer to that question is usually, I don't, Craig. I could probably go into QuickBooks and Xero and work it out. No. What actually is it? And it's like, I don't know. You can't grow if you're not tracking. So this is what you need to know. There are 3 things that you need to focus on, right? And let's make it super simple, right? Number 1, what's coming in? Number 2, what's going out? And number 3, what's actually staying in your pocket? I mean, come on. It's very simple. A business has got to have more money coming in than it is going out. That's it. It's as simple as that. And as long as you've got more money coming in than going out, you're going to make a profit. And what we need to do is get that profit up, right? It's that simple. So how can it be that most businesses, and I mean this, they've got more money going out than they have got coming in? And I don't get it. We need to reverse that. And the only way in which we're going to reverse it is if we understand the numbers. So if you're doing a 250 grand turnover right now, but you're only taking £40,000 home with you, we don't want to scale. We need to fix it first, because all you're going to do is keep working yourself to death for hardly any profit. So I'm going to give you the 8 figures that I want you to go away and sit down with your accountant and start to work out. Now, ultimately, there is more than these 8 figures. But if you don't know what these 8 figures are or how to do or work these out, then these are just the basic numbers. So this is where I want you to start. Write these down. Number 1, you've got to work out what your hourly rate is, what you're charging, because most of you won't be charging the hourly rate out correctly because you don't know how to work it out correctly. You're just looking at what you're paying people and then maybe adding a bit on. That's not how you work out an hourly rate. So sit down with your accountant, work out what your hourly rate is. Number 2, what is the break-even figure in your business? In other words, how much does it cost you just to switch the lights on in your business and trade each week, each month, or each year? Because whether you do 1 job a week or 100 jobs a week, you've got fixed cost and fixed overheads in your business. You need to know how many boilers to sell, or how many solar panels to fit, or how many doors to hang, or how many ceilings to skim, just to break even before you even start making any profit. Number 3, what is your overhead contribution? In other words, you've got overheads in your business, and those overheads have got to be factored into the price of each job. So we need to work out what those overheads are, and then how do we divide them overheads up over the jobs, or put it into your hourly rate. So your hourly rate is now covering the cost of your overheads. Number 4. What is your gross profit per job and per period of time? You need to be tracking how much money you're making on every job. And then what we need to do is we need to run a report to say, right, how much gross profit have we made in the last month or in the last quarter? Number 5, net profit. Again, it's the same. We need to be working out the net profit per job and net profit per period of time based on each one of them jobs. But most people don't even know what gross profit or net profit actually is. Never mind tracking the numbers. So with your gross and your net profit and how to work those out, I'm going to give you another podcast episode that I want you to go out and listen to, where I explain to you in detail and give you examples of what gross profit is, what net profit is, and how you work that out. So go and check out episode number 7, where I explain all that in detail to you. Number 6 is your profit and loss statement. Again, we need to be tracking the profit and loss per job or profit and loss per period of time. And we want to forget about the word loss, don't we? Because we don't want to be making a loss on jobs, but I know many of you will be. And that's because you're pricing the jobs incorrectly. You've not even worked out your hourly rate correctly, or you've not included the overhead contribution, or you've not added any markup on your materials or markup on your labour, or you've not allowed for the right amount of hours, or the material cost has gone over budget. All these reasons are accumulating to you not making profit. Well, listen, why do the job in the first place if you're not going to do profit? You might as well stay at home and work, take that time that you've just lost on that job and put that into learning more about your numbers. Number 7, balance sheets for limited companies. In other words, your balance sheet is the only fluid number that will tell you where your business is at as of that particular day. So it's the only metrics, it's the only number that will give you where the snapshot of where your business is currently at on that day. The reason being is your other reports that you're running are run after the event. In other words, you've got to wait till the job finishes before you can run your profit and loss or your net or your gross profit. And there's nothing you can do about that when the job's done. You've either made a profit or a loss. Whereas the balance sheet tells you, as of today, this is how many assets you've got and the value of them. And this is how much money you've got left in the bank. And that accumulates to how valuable your business is. If you ever came to sell it or you wanted an investor, they're going to go, show me a balance sheet, because that's a snapshot of where your business is at on that day. And number 8 is you've got to learn to price jobs correctly. Honestly, the amount of times over years where I've done it in my early days, where I put a price together and I'd look at it and I pluck these figures up from just about anywhere, then I'd look at the price of the job that I've quoted and I'm like, hang on a minute, if I put that price in, I'm never going to win that job. Would I actually pay that amount for that job? Probably not. So what do? You just come up with this random figure. 600 quid. I tell you what, I'll knock 600 quid off and I'll put pricing at that. Listen, if you're doing all that nonsense, you've got no idea how to price jobs. So you've got to learn how to do it. So what I'm saying to you is get a meeting with your accountant, or join our growth club or our inner circle, because we help you with all this and teach you all this. Either way, you've got to understand the numbers in your business if you're going to scale to get to 1 million. If you don't, you're never going to get there, or you might get there, but you'll be absolutely broke and riddled in debt. Step number 2 is what I call build a scalable service model. Now, what I mean by this is, for you to hit that magic 7 figure, the quickest and easiest way to do it is to sell your most profitable product and service. And once we've identified that, what that is, based on the numbers from step number 1 that we've just been through, you'll be able to identify, hang on a minute, whenever I sell this product or service, I make 10 times as much money as what I do selling that one. Let me give you an example. If you're a plumbing and heating engineer and you're doing general plumbing, fixing stop taps or leaky taps or toilet seats or whatever you're doing, these little piddly jobs, right, are never going to get you to 7 figures. Because you've got to do a lot of those jobs that aren't very high profit margins jobs just to break even each day, never mind make a profit. Whereas if you turned your attention over to boiler installations or heat pump installations and all you ever did was fit them, I guarantee you'll make 10 times as much profit. When I was a joiner, I did everything. I could do first fix, second fix. I could build your house, do a basement, do a loft, do an extension, fix your gutters, do a re-roof. I could do everything. And I did, because I were a joiner, so I did everything. But that made me no money. It's only when I worked out that loft conversions made me the maximum amount of profit, I sacked everything else off and I got laser focused on my marketing strategy to attract more loft conversions. That way, whenever me or my team were leaving our house in the morning to go and graft 8 to 10 hours on the tools, I knew that we were making the maximum amount of profit. So you need to work out, I know I can fit all these different things because that's what my trade allows me to do. But just because you can fit them all doesn't mean to say you should be fitting them all. What you need to do is go back to step one and work out what is your most profitable product and service. And then what you need to do is market the hell out of that, because the more of those jobs we get in, the more profit we're making and the quicker it is to scale to 7 figures. Hence the reason why this step 2 is called build a scalable service model. Stop doing all the things that don't make you profit, or stop doing all the things that might make you profit, but you need to do shitloads of them. Whereas if all I did was fit 1 boiler a day, I could make more money fitting 1 boiler, dealing with 1 customer, than having to visit 10 customers, do 10 jobs, 10 lots of driving, 10 lots of invoicing, right? Find what makes you money and sell more of it. Step number 3 is literally systemize everything. And I mean everything. In today's modern day and age where we've got software, apps, AI, zaps, tools, online tools that will systemize your entire trades business, it's an absolute crime for you to be still doing things old school, because the time that takes you is eating into that 168 hours a week. There is no excuse for people in today's day and age not to have their business systemized and done and finished as a business model. And the reason why we've got to do that is because when our marketing works and we kick in and there's more leads coming into our business, you haven't got time to be on the phone dealing with everything. You haven't got time to go and survey every job. You haven't got time to sit down and price jobs from spreadsheets. You haven't got the time to put proposals together. You haven't got the time to be backwards and forwards with all these different customers, generating invoices at different stages of the job, deposits, interim payments, final payments. You haven't got the time to then kick in a referral strategy and then get a 5-star review and a video testimonial at the end. That entire customer journey can be put into systems, like we've already suggested, like ServiceMate and Leadzilla. But here's the thing that people miss. It's okay systemizing your business and having the systems run the business, but then who is it who knows how to run the systems? And generally, the only person that knows how to run the entire system from top to bottom is you, the business owner. So the next stage is, once it's systemized, we've got to procedurize the systems. In other words, we need to create things like video tutorials showing people how you price a job, showing people how you put the proposal together, showing people how you raise an invoice, showing people how you manage a job on ServiceMate, so that we can build up this procedures library, which then helps to train our team, freeing up even more of your time. Because if every time you brought another, let's use it, plumbing and heating engineer as an example, if every time you brought a new engineer in, you had to go through the same training on ServiceMate and repeat the same things time after time after time, it's going to drain your time. Whereas if you procedurize it and put it into all video format, all the engineer has to do is watch the videos to understand how ServiceMate works on a mobile phone or on a tablet. Are you with me? Likewise, if you're going to be outsourcing the answering of your phone, the procedure is, this is the script and these are the questions that we ask. You might then want to record how you book a survey into your calendar that triggers automated emails and text messages to that customer. You might want to record how you raise an invoice. And when it's all recorded, you can then delegate all that to a VA taking care of all the admin and the paperwork from you. Are you with me? So it's not just about the systems, it's about documenting how the systems work so that then you can start to delegate and get ready for scale. Step number 4 is your marketing strategy. You see, what we've got to do is we've got to start creating the content that's going to attract our target market in their highest concentration to our business. And anybody that comes into our business at that point, whether that's a phone call that's come in or someone filling out a form on our website, we have to put them through a vetting form to get rid of all time wasters and all tire kickers. Because many of you are spending too much time on time wasters and tire kickers that haven't got the budget or have got unrealistic time frames, and you should have never have even given up any of your valuable time to go and see them in the first place. Do you get me? So we need to work on that marketing strategy to identify, number 1, who's a target market. Number 2, how and what content do we create to attract them? And then 3, they need to go through a vetting form so that we're only left with what I call pre-sold, ready-to-buy customers and clients. Now, what I'm going to give you now are the top 5 ways in which you need to be generating leads coming into your business. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot more than these 5, but trust me, these are the 5 that you need to work on that is guaranteed to work for a trades or construction business. Okay? So number 1 is your Google My Business page, right? Your GMB. Because as you know, your Google My Business is where people put reviews and where you start showing up on Google Maps. But what you need to start to do now is start to upload as a bare minimum 4 times a week an image or a video that goes into your Google My Business profile. And when you upload the video or the image, what you need to do is write a little description that includes the keywords that people are searching for to find your business. So if you're an electrician in Sheffield, where I'm based, you would upload a picture of a fuse board or a consumer unit saying, I've just fitted this fuse board in Sheffield. Number 2, you've got to make sure that you're all over social media. It's a free marketing medium that's designed to get exposure and more eyes on your business. So if you're not posting on a daily basis across all your social media platforms, how on earth are you expecting people to get to know, like, and trust you when you're not showing up and you're not being consistent? And the reason why I'm saying daily basis is because you need to engage the algorithms on these platforms to start pushing your content out to more people. Now, marketing is really easy. The more of your target market that can see your content equals more leads. So the more we're marketing, the more we're advertising, the more chance we've got of getting more leads. And we need to activate that algorithm on the platform by posting daily. Number 3 is video marketing. Video is the most powerful form of marketing known to mankind. End of. So if you're not shooting videos such as before and after videos or tutorial videos on how you do something in your business, or you're not getting video testimonials, or you ain't got an introduction video on your website, you've got to get shooting videos. My first video was uploaded into YouTube in October 2010. We're in 2025 now. That's 15 years ago I was doing video marketing. Yet today, when it's as easy as pulling your phone out your pocket and pressing record, some business owners are still not doing video marketing because of the fear of being on camera or what people are going to think or say about them. Well, listen, you've got to step outside the comfort zone if you want to get your business to £1 million. You're never going to get it there by sat inside your comfort zone. Number 4 are blog articles. SEO'd blog articles that sit on your website that are SEO'd, where you're going to write an article based on a product or service that you offer, but that product or service that you are offering, you've already identified what the keywords are that people are typing into Google to find that product or service. So again, let's stick with the fuse board. I'm an electrician, let's say in Sheffield, and I want to fit consumer units. I know, because we do the marketing for many of our inner circle members, that there are people typing right now as I record this podcast, electrician Sheffield consumer units or fuse board replacement in Sheffield electrician. Are you with me? The keywords are going in. So if you write a blog article that's got them keywords in and the blog article is sat on your website, when people go to Google, they've got more chance of finding the blog article than they have your website. So it's an easy way of driving traffic off Google back to your website. And the final one, number 5, is literally your website. You've got to have the 16 fundamental features that you need on your website to turn it into an inquiry generating machine. And if you've not got these 16 features on, then your website, I guarantee, will maybe generate you a trickle of leads, but it's never going to generate you an avalanche of leads. So they're the 5 things that you've all got to start working on when it comes to your marketing strategy. Now, I'm going to give you another podcast episode, and this is the 16 fundamental features that you need to have on your website to turn it into an inquiry generating machine. And that is episode number 16. Go and check out episode number 16. Step number 5 is hire the right people. We've already established that you need to probably improve on some of the team members that you've got. But for you to really scale this up, you need a team that don't need babysitting, that have got common sense and initiative and can do the job to your standards and your quality in the time frames that you set them, right? And when we start to build a team that's going to help you grow your business rather than help hinder it by being on the phone every 5 minutes badgering you, it's like a massive weight's being lifted off your shoulders. So number 1, we've got to start focusing on, over the course of this next 12 months, what other team members might we need to bring in that's going to help with working on the tools. And again, it could be an apprentice, it could be a fitter, it could be a project manager, it might be someone that you want to bring in to do the sales or the surveys to take that off you. But at the end of the day, you can't do everything. You can't be the marketeer. You can't be the salesperson. You can't be the estimator. You can't be the person on the tools. You can't be the communicator with the customer. You can't be the recruiter. You can't be the business owner. You can't be the entrepreneur. You can't be all these different hats, can you? Because there's just not enough time. So number 1 is working out who do you need to bring in on the tools to support you moving forward. And then what we need to think about is from the office side and the admin side, who are you going to need? Because you can't do all your own admin. Doing that admin is what we call low value tasks. And if you were to work out the hourly rate or the cost that you should be charging yourself out as the business owner running a business, you should be charging yourself out at a minimum £200 an hour. I'm not about a day, I'm on about an hour to do what you do. So why are you doing low value tasks that you can pay a VA or an admin person 20 quid an hour to do, freeing your time up to focus on the high value tasks like working on all these areas. Are you with me? So this is about hiring slowly and hiring the right people. Making sure that you write the job advert to call out the skill set of that person. And I see it all too many times where people put posts out on Facebook. We are hiring. We're looking for another joiner to join our growing team. It's crap. You're not looking for another joiner to join your growing team. You're looking for a conscientious joiner that can use software to manage and run jobs and help communicate with the customer and help communicate with the project manager to run the job. Someone who can order their own materials, someone who can communicate well, someone who's great at time management to bring jobs in on time and on budget. That's what you're looking for, not just another joiner. So you write the ad to attract the person, and as long as you have got a great offer and a great package put together for them in terms of what you're paying them, the holiday pay, the perks, the maybe private healthcare, gym membership, whatever you want to bolt onto it, and make it an absolute no-brainer to bring the best quality trades into your business, I'm telling you now, they'll pay for themselves 10 times over. Whereas a lot of business owners will speak to someone who's really good and they'll go, I want 400 quid a day. And you go, oh, I'm not paying that. It's more than I'm paying myself. Well, if you're not going to pay them type of prices, you're not going to get the right people in. And the price of their labour is reflected in the price of the job anyway, because now you're pricing jobs correctly. You need to build a team of the top people. And people say to me, Craig, I can't find highly skilled, trustworthy, reliable, honest tradesmen out there. I just seem to get these people and they just cause me hassle. And I'm like, yeah, but go back to what I've said. Remember, there's only two reasons why you need to bring in a person into your business. That's to save you time and make you money. And if they're not doing that, then they're not the right person. So you've got to bring the right people in. Would you agree that they are out there? Are these people out there? Do they exist? And they go, yeah. And I go, right, well, your problem is they're working for somebody else and not for you. So how can we get them to come and work for you? And when we do bring them in, and they do take limited babysitting, and they are running the jobs for us, and they are coming on time and on budget, and they are ordering materials for us, and they are running job and dealing with customer for us, all that weight comes off our shoulders, but more importantly, we get the time back. And that's what a team member is designed to do. Get your time back and make you more profit. Step number 6 is what I call lead like a CEO. Now, this is a big one. If you want to hit that £1 million mark and not lose your mind and crack up along the way, you've got to stop being just one of the lads or one of the lasses and start becoming a leader and the business owner in your business. Which means you're going to have to learn some new leadership skills. Because if you make the same mistake I made years ago, you're going to end up in a right pickle. Because years ago, I didn't want to come across as like a pushy boss or strict or telling people what to do. I wanted to be the mate. I wanted to be the friend. And I thought, if I'm the mate and the friend, we'll get on like an house on fire. It'll be a great working relationship. And there'll be no confrontation and there'll be no moaning and groaning and bitching and whining and complaining because I'm the friend. That is the biggest mistake you can make with building a team. You thinking you're their friend, you're not. You're their leader. And I don't use the word boss, I use the word leader. So you're going to have to learn some new leadership skills. And one of the biggest leadership skills I can point you in the right direction of is you've got to develop a thick skin. Because in business, whether it's your team or whether it's your customers or whether it's your competitors trolling you on social media, you need to develop a thick skin as a business owner, because it's not all going to be plain sailing. You've got to make some big decisions and tough decisions. And along that journey, you might have to move a few members of your staff on. So you've got to develop a thick skin. I'm not saying you don't have to care. What I'm saying is you can't just be one of the lads, one of the lasses. You've got to become the leader, which means you've got to start doing the following things. Number one, you've got to start setting goals. Whether that's goals on timeframes of jobs or goals on how many jobs you're going to get done this month, you've got to set goals, and you've got to share the goals with your team. Or otherwise, they're going to go at snail pace and the job will get done when they say it gets done. That's not on. We set goals and we share that with his team. Number two, you've got to have regular brainstorming team meetings, where at them team meetings, you praise them for all the good things that's happened throughout the month or 6 weeks you're going to have them. But then what you do is you bring up some of the things that you've identified that's not gone quite right. But instead of beating them up with it, you say to them, look, this didn't go quite right on this job. How can we resolve that to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen again? What can we do, team? And then you get them to come up with the answers. When they come up with the answers and they then go away and implement the new strategy, they can see that you're actually listening to what they're saying. You're actually giving them a voice, because now you're involving them in your business. Number three, you've got to start tracking performance. If you've got someone who's constantly late, if you've got someone who's constantly doing jobs and they're making mistakes, if you've got someone who's constantly on a job and it's overrunning, right, you've got to start tracking performance, and you've got to be a leader and approach the things that aren't going according to plan. Number four, you've got to make decisions based on numbers, not gut feelings. In other words, as a business leader, you've got to take all emotion out of decision making and make the decisions based on logic. And usually the logic comes back to two numbers, two metrics, time and money. End of. So moving forward, we're not going to make decisions based on the gut instinct and how we feel about a situation or someone. We go back and we look at the time and we look at the numbers, and that's going to make us the decision. Number five, holding people accountable. You see, you're the only person most likely in your business that's held accountable, so the whole weight lands on your shoulders. You've got to start making your team accountable by letting them have some of the reins and explaining to them that this is your responsibility now. This is how I want it done. Here are the systems. Here are the procedures. But we've got to make sure that this happens on this time and we do this. And if it doesn't happen, you are the person that's responsible for making sure that that happens. And if it happens, brilliant. These are the rewards that you're going to get. But if it doesn't happen, these are the consequences that's going to happen. So now all of a sudden, as a leader, you're now starting to put other people in an accountability position where they're realising, hang on, if this goes belly up, it's my fault, which then puts a little bit of extra urgency on them to make sure that they get that job or whatever it is you want them doing done. And if it doesn't, they're held accountable, and then we track their performance. Then we have a meeting about it if it needs to have a meeting, etc. And the final one is protecting your culture. And what I mean by this is it's down to you to set the culture in your business on how you want your team to act and behave with you, act and behave between each other, and act and behave with the customer. Because everybody has got different values, morals, standards, and beliefs. And if you're going to bring in a new team member and just let them into your business, and they're bringing poor values, morals, standards, and beliefs to your business because that's how they've been brought up, Or that's how their other previous bosses have let them get away with blue murder and substandard craftsman or workmanship, or let them speak to fellow team members derogatory, or let them speak to your customers in a certain way that's going to cause you problems. That's got to stop. So it's up to you to protect your culture and you to establish the tone of how people behave with each other in your business. Remember, you're not here to be everybody's mate. You're here to build something that's going to last. And being a leader doesn't mean being the loudest. It means being the clearest. Step number 7 is protecting your time. And this one is personal to you. You will not scale your business to £1 million or seven figures plus if you keep saying yes to everything and everyone. And I know that we want to please as customers. I know that we don't want to be negative towards them by saying no. And same with our team. And arguably, same with people like sales reps who'll just drop on your jobs or just drop into your office, right? We've got to start protecting our time, because every single time we nod our head and say yes, we are giving permission for somebody or something to steal some of the 168 hours that we've got inside our time bank. Now, let me explain what I mean by a time bank. I want you to think about time being like a bank, like you put your money in. And you put the money in the bank to safeguard it so nobody can pinch it. And the reason why you do what you do is, when you look at your bank account every month, it should be increasing and accumulating. Now, sadly, for many people who are stuck in stage 2, busy fool, it's not increasing, it's going opposite way, which as we know is going to land us in trouble. But if our money is accumulating, we've got to start to look at the same with time. So every Monday morning when your eyes open, I want you to think about having a bank of 168 hours. And the minute your eyes open on that Monday morning, whatever time they open, your time bank is draining. Because every task, everything, every person that you're going to speak to and deal with throughout that day is going to drain your time. And that goes on all week. And at the end of every week, your job as a business owner is to make sure that you've got enough time to run your business. You've got enough time to make the profit that you need. But you've also got time to do what you want to do when you want to do it, i.e., with your family, with your hobbies, spare time. But how many business owners that are stuck in stage 2 have got spare time? They haven't. We already established at the beginning of this episode that you've got a to-do list as long as you're on that you haven't got done, that you're now transferring over to the following week. So you're starting the following week off overdrawn from the week before. So we've got to make sure that we are safeguarding our time against anything or anybody that wants to rob it. And the best way of safeguarding your time is saying the smallest word, but is the most powerful and impactful word that will save the most amount of time, and that is the word no. And as long as you're saying it in the right manner, it's not going to come across negative, it's not going to come across abrupt. It's just that no means no because I'm protecting my time. So here are some areas that I believe you need to be protecting time for to scale your business. Number 1 is thinking time. Just headspace time. Just give yourself a breather and slow everything down and get off the hamster wheel so you've got time to think about your next moves and what you're doing in your business. Because most business owners don't have time to just stop and think clearly. Number 2, planning time. You need time to plan your business, whether that's the growth of the business, planning a particular job, planning on taking more staff, planning on working on your numbers. You've got to have time that you plan, and that's got to be in your diary. Number 3, you're going to need time to plan for hiring and building this team, because without the team, we can't get to where we want to be. Number 4, time for reviewing our marketing strategy. What's working? What's not? Looking at our conversion rates and saying, well, hang on a minute. We are getting more business via our website than we are paid ads. So therefore, let's stop the paid ads, take the money that we've been invested into the paid ads that's not working, and let's reinvest that back into SEO for our website. Number 5, analysing the numbers in your business. We've already established how important this is. You've got to be able to sit down every week and look at those numbers and have an accurate prediction of where your business is currently at. What gross profit have you made? What net profit have you made? What's the profit and loss starting to look like? Number 6, building relationships, building partnerships, strategic partnerships with other businesses or other people that can open doors of opportunity. Because it's not what you know in business, it's who you know that opens doors of opportunity. So if you're not going to be networking and you're not going to be building partnership and relationships, then you're not going to have many doors open for you. I'm a great networker and I rely on other people open me doors of opportunity. Likewise, I'll open doors of opportunity for other people. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And number 7 is time to learn new strategies. You know, you're listening to this podcast episode now, and we've been going for well over an hour, right? This is time that you're now investing, but listen to what you're learning. If you went back and listened to every one, you know, we're on episode 60. If you went back and listened to every single one of my episodes, the value, the knowledge, the strategies, once implemented, would catapult you to that £1 million. But how much time do you set to one side for learning and development? So if you're stuck on the tools and you're working 50, 60 hours of work on tools, and then you're coming home at evening and doing all your paperwork at evenings and weekends, how on earth are you going to find that spare time in that time bank for those extra hours that you're going to need? The way in which you're going to do that is by implementing everything that I'm teaching you on this episode. But what you've got to start doing as of now is going into your default diary and blocking time out every single week to work on your business, to work on these strategies. Remember, nothing's going to change until you shift your mindset and realise, hang on a minute, I'm just flogging a dead horse here. I keep getting the same results and don't seem to be getting any further forward. If that's the case, you need to block the time out in your diary every week to work on the business and work on everything that you're learning so you can make that conditional change in your mindset, get more motivated, leads you to taking action so you can get a different result. Step number 8 is to focus on profit, not just on turnover. At the beginning of this episode, we said that, you know, everybody wants to get to this £1 million sort of like baseline, if you like. It's sort of like a benchmark of where people want to get to. But again, think about it. We don't want to be turning over £1 million and you only paying yourself 100 grand a year, because there's no point in doing £1 million. I know I'm coaching people that are paying themselves 100 grand a year and they're only turning over 300 grand. So what we've got to start to think about here is going back to that turnover is vanity, profit is sanity scenario. So what I want you to start focusing on is, how can we get the profits up? What do we need to do in our business to nudge those profit margins up? And to do that, there's going to be certain things that we need to do. Certain check-ins that we need to do, which is a good habit to break into. So what I want you to focus on are these 5 things. Number 1, again, coming back to learning how to price properly, you need a pricing calculator, whether that's something that you build on an AI app or something that you build on a spreadsheet with just formulas. But you've got to start to learn how to price jobs correctly, because the pricing of the job is going to determine the profit margins on the job. So if you don't know how to price jobs properly, or you think you've got an idea, but you know really deep down that you're going wrong somewhere, you've got to stop everything you're doing now, because it's the pricing of the job that's going to determine the profit margins. So if you had some kind of calculator that you built, even if it's just a basic spreadsheet where you start putting numbers in and start playing with your numbers, and again, sit down with your accountant or join our growth club or our inner circle and we'll help you do all this anyway. But what I'm saying is, you've got to get that pricing right, and the quickest way to do it is build a calculator where you put numbers in and it spits out a price at the bottom, and that price then is going to be bang on. Number 2, weekly cash flow check-ins. Looking at all them numbers in your business, and you can do this through software called QuickBooks or Xero, for example. And as long as your accounts are up to date, and what I mean by that is making sure that all your sales invoices are on and up to date up to the end of that week, and all your purchase invoices are on, and your bank reconciliation, your bank account's tied into your software. Once you're up to date and you're keeping your accounts up to date, which is easy if you do it on a weekly basis, you know exactly where you are money-wise. Because in these softwares, you can just literally click a button and it runs your gross profit. Click another button, it'll tell you your net profit. Click another button, it's going to tell you your profit and loss. But you can only do it if you're keeping your accounts up to date. And again, I'm still shocked at the amount of business owners that are out there where their accountancy software is miles behind. They're like a month, 2 months, 3 months behind. And even to a point where these people started my inner circle, and when we've talked about cash and finance, some of them have said to me, Craig, do you know what? I am in stage 2. I'm in that busy full period. And do you know what? I just don't get time to get my invoices out. I'm that busy going from one job to another. I just don't get time to get my invoices out. And I'm like, what? Are you crazy? And I'm like, and yeah, you know, we haven't sent invoices out for weeks or months. I'm like, flipping, hey, what are you doing? So you've got to bring your software up to date on a weekly basis. And again, you can outsource this to your accountant or a bookkeeper who can do it for you. A low-value task where we could pay somebody to do it for us, but then at least we've got all the data that we need. Number 3, monthly profit and loss reviews. In other words, when we get these profit and loss accounts, we can look at that per job or per, let's say, month. And we sit down and we go, right, this month, our profit is this amount, which accumulates to a net profit margin of X amount of percent. Now what I want to do is I want to go and look at last month. Okay, last month we made more profit. Right, so what's gone different this month? What's happened? Why have we made less profit? We still made profit, but we've not done as good as last month. And I'd be saying, why is that? What's happened? Is it to do with marketing? Is it to do with some jobs went wrong? Is it to do we didn't price the job properly? Is it to do with the team took too long on that job? We need to be looking at what them profit and loss figures are, because ultimately those profit and loss monthly figures are going to determine your lifestyle moving forward. And if you're okay with your team cocking up on jobs and costing you your next 2-week holiday to Florida, right, then that's up to you. But I won't be happy with that. The numbers are going to tell us what's going off in your business. Number 4, I want you to set up 4 bank accounts, right? Or you might have got one bank account, and in a lot of the online banks now, such as Starling or Monzo or Tide, you can set up pots like money pots, saving pots, if you like. So either way, you need 4 separate pots or 4 separate accounts. And what I want you to do is when the money comes in, right, it goes into your current account, which I know you'll all have. Then what I want you to do is I want you to set up a VAT account, if you're VAT registered. I want you to set up a tax account, and I want you to set up a savings account. And then what you're going to do is, because every week you're running weekly check-ins on your numbers, you can say at the end of every week, right, out of that current account, I need to take this amount of money out because this is the profit that we've made. And the only thing I'm going to leave in that current account is the wages and the materials. The money's going to come out, and what we're then going to do is this week or this month, we know that this is what our VAT is for this month. You're then going to put whatever that VAT is into that VAT account, and you are not going to touch that money. What you're then going to do is you're going to go, right, this week or this month, I'm going to have to pay this amount of tax. So you're going to take your tax money out and put your tax money into an account, and you're not going to touch it. And then what you're going to do then is at the end of every quarter, when your VAT's paid, any VAT left over in your VAT account gets taken out and put into your savings account. Every time you're accumulating money into your tax account, the likelihood is you're putting too much in. So when we come to pay your self-assessment tax or your corporation tax, any money left over goes into that savings pot. And then what we start to do is build that savings pot for a rainy day. And number 5, and something that I know many of you won't be doing, is you have got to pay yourself first. And you've got to pay yourself properly. Because I know that I used to do this. I'd go like, right, I need to pay me wages and me subbies. I need to pay me materials and me VAT and all that lot. And if there were anything left in pot at the end of the week or the month, I'd take it. But that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, come on. Who else do you know would work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, have all that stress and responsibility and hassle, and run a business, to not pay themselves, to pay everybody first, and if there's anything left, you're lucky you get the scraps? That's got to stop. That's a tradesman running a business, or a tradeswoman or person. That's not a business owner. That's where the shifting mindset's got to start. So regardless of what you're doing, every single week, you take money out of your business for you and your family. And right now, you might say, Craig, I can't do that. Well, the reason why you can't do it is because you're fucking up on the prices, on the jobs, and you're not making money. In other words, you've got more money going out your bank than you've got coming in. But once we start to implement everything that you're learning in this episode and the other episodes, you ought to get to a position where every single week you've got more than enough money to take out of the bank for yourself. But an entrepreneur, a business owner, not a trades business owner, thinking as a tradesperson on tools, every entrepreneur and business owner takes their money first, or what's the point of doing that? And if you're prepared to work 80 hours a week and have all that stress and responsibility and get paid scraps at the end, I'll employ you. Come and work 80 hours a week for me and do that for me. I'd love to employ you, but you're not going to do it, are you? But you're doing it to yourself. So that's got to stop. Don't fall into the trap of you being the last person paid. Your business is to serve you, not the other way around. Step number 9, building partnerships and leverage. And this is really going to start to speed things up, because I've already alluded to, it's not what we know in business, it's who you know that opens doors of opportunity. And once you start getting out there and you start networking and people start introducing you to new people, these new people are going to open doors that you would never in a million years have got through never mind even knowing they were even there. So leveraging partnerships and strategic partnerships, as I call them, is absolutely essential. So non-competing businesses that have got the same target market as you, that you can partner up with so you can refer each other to the same target market. Let me explain. As a building contractor, as my business was, a great strategic partner for me was architects and structural engineers, because obviously architects are going to get leads and enquiries coming in for extensions and lofts and things like that from customers. Likewise, they would pass the maybe a lead on to a structural engineer to do all steel calculations and size at joists and rafters and everything else that we needed, right? So they got my target market, and they'd been introduced to that target market before I even knew them. So the more strategic partnerships, the more I could build up relationships with architects and structural engineers, as an example. The more I did that, the more work was just literally passed on to me. Now, passing work on to me means that I'm not having to spend any money on marketing to generate those leads. So my acquisition cost was zero, other than time, me networking and spending time building relationships. So my advice to every single one of you is to join some local networking events, because it's at these local networking events where you're going to start to meet people and build these important relationships. And trust me, one architect that I got introduced to, right, get this, when I started networking 18 years ago, a news agent, a local news agent, introduced me to an architect. And I've been trying to get in with this architect for about 18 months, sending him emails and sending him letters and all sorts. I connected up with him on LinkedIn all them years ago, nothing. It turned out that the news agent guy that I met in my networking group, lo and behold, guess who his brother was? It was the owner of the architectural practice in Sheffield that I've been trying to get in with years. And he said to me, "Oh, do you want to speak to our Dave?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he literally picked his phone out, rung him. Dave answered phone and he said, "I've got a guy here called Craig Wilkinson who wants to speak to you. Will you just take his call and chat to him for 2 minutes?" So I had this quick call, and he actually knew who I were because he'd been getting the emails and he'd been getting the letters, so we were on their radar. From that, I organised a meeting at his offices, and I went to his offices, and for the first couple of months, I didn't hear anything back. But then he got let down by one of his builders, and he sent me drawings through for a job, and he said, "Look, we'll give you a go, do a good job, and more will come." That relationship I had for almost 10 years that generated me millions of pounds worth of work, all from building relationships. It cost me nothing in marketing spend. So the more people you can get networking with, the more doors of opportunity that you can open for each other, then the more business that you're going to win. And that's what we call building relationships and leveraging your time. So go and check out any local networking events. Many of you come to our monthly online networking event through our Growth Club. Many of you come to our Rise of the Trades Summit. We've just held that in Sheffield, where hundreds of you have just been to our summit. So we hold our own networking events for our Growth Club members, but that's not stopping you from attending other networking events in your local area. Step number 10 is don't do it alone. And what I mean by this is At the beginning of this episode, I said to you that I wanted to be honest with you, and I'm not here to sell you a dream. If you want to be sold a dream and go and waste your hard-earned cash, go to another coach who's going to promise you world and deliver sweet FA. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you this is not easy. It's tough. And we've already established if it were easy, everybody would be already doing it, but they're not. What I'm here to say is don't do it alone. Find someone that's been there, seen it, done it, and can point you in the right direction. Because building and growing and scaling businesses, the wheel has already been invented. It were invented donkeys years ago. All you need to do is find the people that have done it in your industry that's got a proven track record, and then just ask them, how have you done it? And if they're anything worth their value, they'll tell you, like I'm telling you on these podcasts. And then surround yourself with a community of other business owners that are on the exact same journey. Because if everybody's on the same journey and everybody can help and support each other along that journey, and you're all working towards a similar strategy, then you're all there to help pull each other higher when times get tough, and they will get tough. You'll hit some walls. Negative self-belief and self-talk will start to creep in. You'll make mistakes. But if we can limit the amount of mistakes and limit the amount of doubt that's going to creep in, and you've got a team around you and a community around you that's there to pull you up when times get tough, and you're working towards a proven strategy, surely that has got to be the quickest and easiest way to get to where you want to be. Deep down, all them years ago, I knew this, but because I got a fixed, closed mindset, I didn't want anybody touching my business or trying, it's my baby. I've conceived it. It's my business. I want to build it the way in which I want to build it and do it my way. But having that negative mindset and that fixed mindset led me to being stuck in stage 2 of business growth, busy fool, for 12 long, hard freaking years before the penny finally dropped with me and I realised, hang on a minute, I've been grafting my bollocks off here for 12 years. And yeah, I'm a little bit further on than where I were 12 years ago. But the time, the effort, the stress, the marriage breakdown, the divorce, everything that it cost me, were it worth all that just to get a little bit further ahead in business and life? And the answer to that is absolutely not. So I decided to swallow my pride and get help and support. And I did that 18 years ago. And it's clearly now, looking at where I am now and what I'm doing now, you can see that it's the best decision I ever made. And this is why I'm saying the business wheel's being invented. Don't try and do it on your own. Don't try and cobble it together and wing it and do it your way, because that's the quickest way to becoming that busy fool. All you need to do is find the people around you that's been there and done it and just copy what they've done. And if you do that, you will speed up the process of getting to where you want to be 100 times quicker, with less costly mistakes of time and money, and more importantly, less stress on you and your family. So your action task from this episode is I want you to pick one of the areas that we've just gone through in this episode, right? And make a start on it this week. I don't know where you are in your business right now. Only you know, out of all them areas, which one is going to be the most valuable, the most important one for you to start on. And how I would evaluate this if I were you, bearing in mind we know that everything in business comes down to 2 things, which is time and money. I'd be looking at them 10 areas going, right, I can't improve them all overnight. I'm going to start with one, and I want you to work out which one is going to make you the most amount of profit and save you the biggest chunk of time. And if you look at everything from a time and a money perspective moving forward, they're the decisions that you need to make. So out of the 10, which one is going to either, one, make you more profit and get your profit margins up immediately, or two, which one is going to save you the biggest chunk of time and retain that time in your time bank so we can reinvest it back into your business. Now remember, taking action builds clarity. Clarity builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. But if you're listening to this and still thinking, I've got a lot to do, Craig, I don't really know where to start, and 100% step number 10, I don't want to do it on my own, I know I'm going to need some help and support. Well, that's exactly why I built the Trades Freedom Club. To give trades and construction business owners like you the tools, the support and the community to stop guessing and winging it and to start growing it the right way. Inside our Growth Club or on my Inner Circle coaching program, you get coaching, accountability, the systems, you get strategies from proven experts, and a group of positive trades and construction business owners that are all on the same path as you to bounce ideas off. So we've got everything that you're going to need to get your business to £1 million turnover business with high net profits without you having to work it out yourself. So if you're finally ready to build a business that serves you and not the other way around, your next step is pretty simple. Click the link in and around the description of this episode and come over and join our Growth Club. And in that Growth Club, you're going to get instant, and I mean it, instant access to live coaching with me on every single one of these areas that we've just covered. You'll also get access to pre-recorded training that you can access 24/7 to allow you to learn at your pace, and that positive community that's all there helping and supporting each other on a daily basis. And that help and support is absolutely priceless. So click the link below this audio, below this podcast, and come over and join our Growth Club. Now I'm going to leave you with my popular phrase that I've already shared with you in this episode, but hopefully as we've got to the end of it, you're going to understand this probably a little bit more and put it into more context. And that is, the business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. It's very simple. If we can shift and change our mindset, we can shift and change our business and our lives. So I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.